conflict resolutions. When is enough enough? In any relationship, there's bound to be conflict. Hello, my friend. Literally, I've wondered how power is achieved and how much power we give to people. And I want to ask a question. Who really rules in a nation or in a society? How is power attained? I know some of us will be quick to think about the elections that are being done, but who is behind the power of any nation? You know, I've been observing back home in Kenya with the new regime and other parts of the world, and I'm beginning to wonder the framers of constitution and those who frame constitution all over the world, were they aware of the structures of power and who really calls the shots? Not that I have a solution, but I'm only opening a conversation on actually asking these questions. Who rules? Who has the power over citizenry? I know we elect leaders so that they may occupy offices. But when they get what we call power or instruments of power, we see them turning out and behaving like our lives are dependent on what they decide. Is that what we delegate to them? Does the leader just wake up in the morning and decide this road will be constructed, or that dam will be shut down, or that school closed down? What power do our leaders have? How do we let them behave like loose cannons so that their life is dependent? Our lives is dependent on them for the next 5 years or 10 years or 4 years in case of America. What is it that we surrender to few individuals? Why does an individual like Joe Biden or William Ruto or Putin or whoever get the mandate to just wake up one morning and just think of something that needs to be done and is done? Why do we surrender all the power and authority to an individual or a few people? Oh yes, I hear somebody asking me, Gigi, do you have an alternative? I don't, but I'm just curious to wonder, how do we surrender rights, power, sovereignty to an individual so that they are over us? And even there, even in marriages, who said somebody has to be a slave of the other or to be subjugated to some other people's ideas so that your life doesn't matter, your opinion don't matter? I almost feel like I want to go back to the drawing, have a clean slate, we restructure things altogether, because some things don't make sense. The poor will not have their say. We may do other elections, we care. But the minute people realize they have the power, they think they have it all, including our lives. Like our lives are dependent on them. But they forget very quickly it's for a short time, because 5 years go quickly, 4 years go quickly. Then people go back to the ballot. Let me ask, who really rules? Do the presidents or prime minister, whoever it is, do they really have the final word, or are there people behind the scene who call the shots? so that one day we wake up, this president comes, the whole education system is shelved because they don't want to do like the former president. Where is the continuity? Why should people, citizens, be tossed like a ball? Today is Prime Minister this, President this. Let's wait how he's going to structure our lives. Why do you live our lives to a monopoly of idea of one person? Or two people, or three people for that matter? What about if they are corrupt? What happens in the next 5 years? I don't want to go back to French Revolution or other revolutions that have happened in the world. But I think a time will come where people are going to ask basic question and maybe go back to the drawing board and say, let's clean everything and redraw. Because it's like our lives have been surrendered to a certain clique. If you ask sociologists about the structure and the power dispensation, they will tell you that we have political elite. They are people who draw the line. Yes, you may have candidates, you may have people out there, but you do not know who they support and who the power brokers are. In Russia, we have the Russian oligarchs, powerful, rich people who sit somewhere to decide. We have the lobbyists, people who tell leaders, we are putting you to the position. If you do not adhere to our ideals, if you do not protect our property, if you do not protect our investment, you are not going to see that door come next election. In any case, we may put an embargo on something. You come with all these good things you want to accomplish, but then your strings are pushed. It's like you're on a leash. Yes, Mr. President, you may have promised these things, but let me tell you, kuna wananchi na wenye nchi. It's like the land belongs to some people. And as long as they are not comfortable, you are not going anywhere. And they can actually get rid of you. I don't want to mention names here, but we know some countries in Africa where the leader did not sing the songs of powerful people. And in the depth of Africa, they were pulled down and eliminated. Who rules? Who has the power? All we do is just puppet show. You have the elections, but you do not know who is behind the string. They know which button to press. They plan it way ahead before you even go and do your elections. Where is the poor person? Where is that person who cannot form part of hegemony? Where they sponsor, where they sit around, because without money, how do you advertise? How do you sponsor those adverts? How do you sponsor rallies? Today, back in Kenya, for people to come together in a rally, they are given money. Don't be lied. Either side, they all do that. They give handouts. They tell somebody, I want you to bring about 500 people. This is 300 shillings for each person who you bring. Let these people shout when they go to the stadium. Rally people from these counties, bring them here so that it may show that I have the big following. Without money, where is that good leader? When is that good leader ever got an opportunity to lead people? It is like money speaks. And if you don't sing to the tune of the elite, you are eliminated. In fact, we reach to a point where when you don't have money, you cannot even be listened to. Where are we headed, ladies and gentlemen? What kind of leadership do we expect or anticipate in the years to come? So that you have leadership in a country or in any society, the question is, what guides them? Is it the legal frameworks? Is it about justice? Is it about equality? What guides these people? Is it legal or is it political? Political meaning self-interest, interest of a people. Or do we have moral compass so that people can choose to live a life because they are guided by morals? You see, in America, this is a country of law and order. You don't even have to believe. It is not so much. I don't think people in this country respect the law. America is more because it's religious or anything. No, it is the land of law and order. People respect law. They keep law. That's what makes it work. Right now in Kenya, they will talk about not law. They are there because they believe in God. What happens when they start not believing in that God? Does it come down? What leads us? What guides us? What sustains the government? What assures the government to stay there until 4 or 5 years have elapsed? Who is in charge? Who do leaders listen to? Because our leaders start well, but as you go along, you wonder what happened. Where is the moral compass that we found in this leader when we cast those votes? Let me tell you, my friend, it gets to a point where it gets to a boiling point when the citizens cannot take it anymore. And it is very important that people realize that people are not stupid. People are not stupid. You see what happened here in America when people were influenced by former President Trump and they were made to believe that this country has been messed up by foreigners, people who've come from outside, that this country belonged to a particular people who I'm not going to mention. See what happened when they invaded the White House, or rather where the president was. They invaded the Capitol. These people could have killed the Congress people. It's like they had taken, I don't know what drugs. They were just crazy. They could have done anything. I was worried that people could take arms and turn against because their mind were influenced in a certain way. So I ask, what if we give power to dangerous people who have no moral compass in them? What if we have people who will buy power by all means? What about people who will force people to do certain things? One of the things I would hate, like in my home country, is where we don't have a corporate conscience, where we all know where we are going. One leader comes and believes this is the way we should go. The other one comes and says, nope, this is the way we should go. And of course, these are part of the reason why we elect them. But where is a consistency? There are those fundamentals that don't have to change. And it will be very bad if we have a leader going there and because you are powerful, you come and declare, I have declared a county, I have declared a constituency, like we've heard in the former presidents we have heard. Unilaterally, just because you have a power, you can say from now on, this school moves from there. Because you have the power, the president has it. Do we really surrender all that power to that individual? Where are the checks and balances? And you know, people have this apathy. They don't want to go to the ballot box because it doesn't make any difference. Young people don't see the sense of participating because they are worried. Are my interests going to be met? Because it is like the nations belong to some people. And then when you elect them, you have to wait for 5 years, if not 10 years. And some cannot wait that long. And those who get elected, they have this attitude, they speak like the land belongs to them. We have seen in former regime where people have seized all the businesses at the expense of the citizenry. And because people are poor, they are disfranchised, they just wait for handouts. Because that's all they can live on, scraps. Do we maybe give too much power to these leaders? Why should a leader go to China, go to India, come to America, and sign a document of billions and billions of shillings without consulting the citizen? Is that how we delegate power to people? Don't you think the president or the leaders need to come and let people know what they are about to do, because it is not their club, it is not their farm. A country is not their private property. So that when you do a thing, call people and tell them what your intentions are. And that should cut across, not just the nation, even the churches at home. If your husband there, the fact that you are head of the family doesn't mean you go and do unilateral decision. Involve other people. Let your children know what you're doing. You're not your own. One day I went to buy a car. My kids were young, and they were telling me, what kind of a car, Daddy, are you buying? And I was like, does that concern you? I asked them in a polite way. They said, yes. You brought us to this world. We are part of you. In any case, my daughter said, in a car you have 5 seats. You're not going to occupy all the 5 seats. And I'm like, kwani wanataka kunitukana? But that was the reality. You cannot pretend to live there and do things unilaterally without asking other people, especially if you are part of that family. The same thing even in church. You cannot buy property or make major decision without involving people and letting people know what you're doing. Life, you cannot claim to have other people's life. They have a right of thought. They have a right to make a decision, more so in their country. If I had the power, no president, nobody would go and sign for a big loan or a project costing million or billion of shillings just for us to club. Somebody is out there greeting other people president, and then whatever you do, it come to impact me and my children and my children. Why do we relegate that power to an individual few people? We can refuse as peoples. We need to know before you go, what are you going to do? Because you are our leader. I don't know why I'm furious about this, but I almost felt like, where does this power come from? Why? Who gives them all this power? Is it the Constitution? I don't think so. Constitution is an interpretation. It's a matter of interpretation. So I wonder, who really rules this world? Is it true as they say in Kenya, kuna wananchi na wenye nchi? It is like you citizens, you just go and do what we want you to do because we already know what the result is. There was a political analyst who used to say, it is not the people who cast the votes, it's the people who count the vote that matter. You all do all you can, citizen. We'll hype you, but we know which button we're going to press. Seriously? I don't know where this is coming from. I just wish that people know that when you stand, when you are elected, you are there on behalf of people, and you are expected, you are accountable to the decision, not just made, but even what you are intending to do. I like in America where the president may want to do away with certain things and the Congress will say no. Checks and balances. But come on. There's some nations who don't care about that. You can buy people. Those are folks in other countries like the oligarchs, the political elite, the rich and the powerful. They almost know the outcome. So where does that leave you and me? Do we give up? No, we don't. We must speak. It is very bad to wait until 4 years or 5 years to add, and then we start complaining that somebody did wrong after all. We have a duty, a civil duty, to reign and rule with those in power. And when you see something is not right, you tell them when it is too early. Let us see the cracks. Because if we don't, we're going to come and build a wall. And sometimes it could be too late. So we don't keep quiet. We talk. We have freedom of speech. Inform people. Let people know their rights. Tell them they have a voice. They may not have the money, but they can shout, they can talk. 2, a very powerful weapon, more than the oligarchs, more than the political elite who has the money. The media. Media is a very important tool. Because when we read about Kenya or New York, we read the newspaper, we open the channel, CNN will tell their version, Fox will tell their version. So the media is a disseminator of the information. They can disguise the information. They may have misinterpretation of the information. They inform the citizen. So we must also make sure that we have media that has moral compass that you can trust. So just hope that even in our elections, in our citizenry, in our civility, we may make a choice to make sure we have people with moral compass. But we must not wait until it is all messed up. We need to speak. The church for which I represent has delegated its duties. God in heaven calls for justice, calls for righteousness. And there is no government like of God, because that it doesn't change. Its ideologies are consistent, they are predictable, they are constant. It is justice, it's righteousness, it's equality, and those virtues don't change since time immemorial. And when we keep quiet and we get compromised, ladies and gentlemen, especially those who represent God Almighty, we fail the weak. We fail those people who don't have the financial muscle, who don't have a platform, who cannot be listened to because their status is not acceptable. Where are the gatekeepers? Where are the gatekeepers that will shout and say, no, you are starting wrong, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Governor, this is not the way it should be. And I'm not saying that you have to be a politician to do these things, but to speak for the voiceless, to speak for those that are victimized. And when you know that justice is not roaring, we speak out and we correct it from the word go. And when we correct, it doesn't mean you're in the opposition. You want a just society, a society that is mindful of people who are going hungry, or people who are jobless, or people who cannot access their basic human rights. Then you start ruling. It is not that one person there, it is all of us. I will rule by praying, participating, and making sure I'm not part of the corruption. It takes two to whatever two it is. You cannot have a bribe without the bribed. Takes two to tango. That's what I wanted to say. So can we all rise up and believe it is our government? Believe it is our family. Believe it is our church instead of relegating to one person. We fail when we don't participate. We fail when we don't speak. We fail when we don't shout. And you should not only shout when things go bad. We also need to affirm when things are right. When a president directs and says we don't want this discrimination, let us be very quick to say hallelujah. That's the voice of God. When they come and dismantle the cartels that has maimed the society, we should shout to say the name of the Lord be glorified. If we are going to unearth all those corruptible people who have actually maimed and messed up our system, we should give them a high five, pat on the shoulder. But when they go wrong, and when we see the signs and the way they are using power, we shall be quick to say, brother, no, not that way. Go slow. But don't crap whatever they say, things that are even contrary to the word of God. Things that go against the human right. Things that speak to injustice. We all rule. It is not them. It is all of us. And the fact that they are given that authority and power and position does not give them power to take your rights. And you know the best way to learn? We should learn about our Maker, who reminds all of us the earth and all that in it belongs to Him. If only we be accountable to Him, any action we do, what does it do to my brother? What does it do to my sister? Would I like the same be done to me? Let us live by the golden rule. It is not them. It's all of us. We all rule. Don't let anybody rule you, confuse you. To say, now I'm the one in power, you're going to follow what I say. What do you mean? In Africa, we say I am because we are. And you cannot be without us. My friend, oh man, don't be a spectator. Don't be a cheerleader. Be a player, because this world belongs to all of us. This country, whether Kenya or America, is ours. Because if those in power cannot do without my tax, they cannot do without me as an individual. You are that important. And the minute you dismiss yourself, you give them power to use you as trash, and they'll flash you. And you're going to make you sing their music. They're going to impoverish you so that you can beg. And what do they give? They give what they have stolen from you. Come on, let's rise up. And for heaven's sake, it is our laddie too. It is my society too. And you should tell everybody, nobody should premier you here. You have every right to live peacefully where you are. Because the land does not belong to them. It does not belong to me. It is for all of us. My friend, I don't know who rules in your life, in your family. And I don't know what the institutions that you know has done to you. You have every right. You are part of the system. You have a stake. Back in the church, my tradition believes about the priesthood of all believers. That's what I was taught. That's my theology. We are all priests. There is nothing I can do that you as a believer cannot do. Just because I'm a bishop does not give me any better access to the Maker than you. The only thing is I'm set aside. I'm only set aside because there are few things we cannot all be doing. But primarily, let me tell you this before I conclude. This is the best example. President Joe Biden is not more of a citizen of the U.S. than you. President Ruto or Uhuru or Kibaki in Kenya, they were never, and they are not more of citizen. In fact, their access their identity as Kenyan citizen, it's not more than yours. What is different is the role and the function that they have. And for you to know, wait until calamity comes. They get sick like you do. They cry as you do. They die as you do. Na kaburi itakuwa the same measurement kama yako. We are all human beings at the end of the game. Why do we allow all these things, bureaucracy and other things, come and subject others so that others become subjects? Ukiona mtu na muinamia ni kama it's a semi-god. We are all in this together. It is not them, but all of us. We all rule. Let us take our role. Speak out. Usiseme kwamba umefinyiliwa na hawa na hakuna jambo lolote unafanya. Kama ni baya ni baya. Kama wanafanya vizuri tufurahi kwa sababu wanafanya mema. Na usigoje mtu akichukua ushukani na kwamba amezidi, aambiwe pole pole. So that we all work together and pray for our leaders. Because the higher you go, the colder it becomes. And they have a lot of pressure around them. Let us be part of the solution and not sit here and wait them to do the magic so that we start telling them they are not doing this, they are not doing this, they are not doing this. Let us follow the words of JFK, who said, ask what you can do for your government or your society as opposed to what it is doing to you. You have a role to play. Come on, police. The police cannot do everything unless you as a citizen. President Uhuru used to say that a lot. It starts with you as a citizen. That corruption starts with you. If you don't give it to that officer, he is not going to get any bribe. It takes a sacrifice. We are all in this together. Ukiona mawe inarushwa, usirushe kwa sababu wengine wanarusha. Do your part, let me do your part. That way, we are all reigning. We are all ruling. It's only that we need a captain to steer. Lakini hawezi kutupeleka mahali tutaki. Akienda kazi tunamwambia, hey dereva unatupeleka wapi? Because anapeleka hiyo basi nani kama hatuko ndani. We are all important. And please, take your position. Sisi in a diaspora, we cannot be told we are the best people who are giving the best money there, and yet they ignore other contribution. Huwezi kuja kupenda kipeti changu pesa zangu, my pouch, but you're not taking my ideas. If my money is helping my country, let my ideas also. But are you going to know if you don't contribute, if you don't say it? Let's come together and create our nation, Kenya. Whether we are there or not, come together, make it better. Don't point fingers when you are not doing anything. Be proactive. May God bless you. I hope I have not confused you. I just hope that you find your position as you answer this question. Who rules in a nation? I pray that you find within yourself to know you are equally important and your contribution is needed like yesterday. Take charge. Like it all depends on you. Thank you and God bless you.